worked surprisingly well. It's almost like I know what I'm doing.
Is all our voices here this time?
All of our voices are here. I got it all set up. It's all good to go. I mean, took a little rusty from not having used OBS in a while. So either way, we're here. We're back. DLive is still not connected, but I'm not really that worried about it. I don't care.
Surprise, the website's been taken down.
I know. PewDiePie couldn't keep it running all on his own. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Josh. I am one half of your hosting duo here for the W Key podcast. With me, as always, is my brother, aka Matt, aka Technique, viral TikTok star, with another video cresting the 15,000 view mark. So, yeah. Slowly getting famous. Look at him over there. He's got,
I guess
all the swagger of a famous TikToker now. He's going to go live in LA in a TikTok house.
You look good, you play good.
So they say, right?
Play the part, look the part, play the part, be the part.
Exactly. Well, it's been 2 weeks. Last time we talked to everybody. We're on time. We're on schedule. We're 2 weeks from when we did it. We're keeping it up. It's feeling good. We're here. We're ready to talk some gaming. I hope all of you guys are as well. And yeah, I mean, it's been interesting to say the least. It's sort of been boring too, which we'll get to a little bit of that as well.
Hey, nothing too wild lately.
No,
we need that big crazy story to come out again. I feel like when we first started podcast, shit was kind of popping off left and right.
There were things happening all the time, but I mean, it's been
there's like the streamer wars was going on. I mean, people signing different places, Mixer shuts down, all this good crap. But now it's kind of just the dust has settled.
Yeah. Well, and even that, there's no, from a purely gaming standpoint, there's just like not much like out there to really enjoy yourself on, which we'll talk a little bit about. But we're going to get back into a habit that I kind of broke for a little while. And we're going to give you guys This Week in Gaming. A little bit of a walk down memory lane when it comes to the gaming titans in the past. Big moments in gaming. Most of it is game releases. So, there's that. So we'll start not quite as deep in the history books as some of the other This Weeks in Gaming, but... And Matt, I know you and I are both very big fans of this game. We played a ton of it when it came out. Tekken is 26 years old this week. Pretty big. Tekken has fallen to the wayside as far as fighter games are concerned, but it was a big one back in the day. I
feel like they still do like Tekken tournaments.
Oh, they definitely do,
still, don't they?
But it's not
legit,
nearly
like the joystick.
Yeah. I definitely feel like it was a much higher, it was on a much higher pedestal back in the day. There's 1, 2, and 3
fighting games in general. I mean,
yeah,
you don't like those side fighting games much these days anymore.
Exactly. So that's pretty cool though. Tekken, 26 years old, originally PlayStation release. So that's older than probably even some of the people who listen to our show. So you may not ever have heard of Tekken. Go check it out. Watch some videos. It was pretty cool. It's pretty fun. 25 years ago, Resident Evil came out. The very first one. I know there's other Resident Evils. Well, there's obviously other Resident Evils with the numbers behind it, but there's another Resident Evil because they remade the original one, I believe, correct? Like 5 years ago? Because they're on 3. They're on like Resident Evil 3, like redo. They got to a certain point and then they're like, let's remake them all.
No, I mean, it's still going strong. Like the Resident Evil is coming out soon, like a brand new one, Resident Evil Village.
Yeah, but it's like they started remaking it at some point.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're still releasing brand new games while at the same time they're like remastering the good ones.
Yes,
because 2 and 3 were. Is it 2 and 3 that were remastered? I played those. This is all Carly's fault. She loves them, but she's kind of too afraid to play them. I'm not that big of a horror fan for games either, but they are somewhat enjoyable. But I've been playing them because she's like, "Oh, I'll play these because I don't want to, so you do it." So I played 7, Well, because it went starting at 7, it went to first person. Before it was third person,
Yeah.
so she kind of handled that. She doesn't like first person shooters. So 7 and this new one coming out, Village, is all first person. But yeah, these games are still going strong. I had a lot of fun playing 7, and 8 looks like it's going to be pretty freaking wild also.
Yeah. No, so 25 years ago started a revolution. Resident Evil still going strong, so that's pretty cool. Another game that is just recently had a new release as well. Doom 64 came out 24 years ago. Doom is still, a blockbuster release. I mean, Doom Eternal was widely praised. It was a very good game. It runs fantastically in like all levels. Like a lot of people use it to benchmark like 4K systems and stuff like that, just because of the graphics engine that it runs on is like so flawless. It's sort of a not flawless, but it's sort of like a positive control, because like almost any setup can run a Doom game really well and make it look really good. But either way, they're still pumping out games, and now they'll be under the umbrella of Microsoft, because they were under the umbrella of Bethesda. So we talked about that last episode. So we're looking forward to some more games from them as well. I didn't even put the date, but I think it was 20 years ago. Yeah, StarCraft came out 20 years ago. I believe it was 20 years ago. Or 20, it was either 20 or 23 years ago. That's what it was. So StarCraft. I didn't really play a lot of StarCraft, to tell you the truth. It's
I did either.
Yeah, it was, it's the RTS, like real-time strategy type game. Like I loved Command and Conquer, shit like that. I just never really got into StarCraft. I didn't know about it. I knew much more about Command and Conquer, and that's why I started. That's why I just kind of stuck with it. I never really branched out into anything else. But I've played StarCraft recently, not like recently, but in my adult years, and it's fun. It's a good game.
I thought was it Starfield, or weren't you playing some
Stellaris?
Stellaris.
Yeah, there's a lot of games with a lot of colony games. Yeah, Stu games. And then the most recent and the last kind of notable one, 20 years ago, the OG motherfucking RuneScape came out in the browser. It wasn't even on a system. It was a web browser. They're back up and running, actually.
The OG one.
Yeah. One of my buddies from the Axe Throwing Bar, Chester, if you're ever listening, this is for you. He plays, and he'll bring his like laptop in, and he'll play like at work and stuff like that. Because I mean, you don't really have to be like actively involved a ton, like, and so he's like back up. They've got like subscription plans for like membership or something like that, but you can play it for free like you did back in the day. But obviously everyone's trying to squeeze some money out of everything nowadays. So but yeah, RuneScape, man, like I remember playing RuneScape like long time ago.
I'd say it's kind of like my first my first experience into like MMORPGs. Is that what we call RuneScape?
Yeah, I would say
MMORPG. Yeah, right. Yeah. So my first little taste of just online gaming with other people, like with games like that, I had fun with it. I would just like post up in the PvP area and try to. I like that game because it's the one, it's kind of real life. If you died in the PvP zone with what you had, you lost everything. So you gotta be careful what you go in. When I would just be camping in there trying to kill some decked out dude, try to get his stuff real quick, but I'd always get my ass whooped. Yeah, no,
it was definitely a fun game. It was a good way to pass the time. It was just like a really good, I don't know. It was just like a good, fun, wholesome game to pass the time. It was just exactly like you said, like it was a good foray into like MMOs. It was an MMO before kind of MMOs were a thing. And it was just, it was cool. It was
like a free world too. Like, it's probably my first like playing a game. I just dropped in. I'm like, okay, what do I do? No one's telling me where to go. Like, I didn't know. Yep. What do I do with my hands right now? Kind of thing.
So no, it was cool. So I mean that's everything I got. Everything we got for this week in gaming. there's always a ton. There's like literally a ton of shit. Like if you were to ever Google it, but I just try to pick out some of the stuff that's kind of more prominent, more prominent to us, things that we like. Well,
it's the same to look at these things like Resident Evil and Doom are both games that are huge.
I know.
To this day, still like they're still just chugging along, killing it.
Yeah, it's I mean, Doom, the original Doom on the PC is still going so strong because it's like one of the most modded games out there because they just basically gave the source code like out and they were like, hey, do whatever you guys want to do. And so it's a very it's a very, very modded game, and there's just so many iterations of it, so it's pretty crazy. Some less than gaming related stuff. We're 2 days away. Or roughly by the time you are listening to the audio version, it will be day of. But Kong versus Godzilla is coming out on the 31st. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of excited for that. It looks good. It looks interesting.
It should be a nice little monster battle. It doesn't look like they tried to do anything too fancy. They know what they're doing. They know who they're trying to cater to, so they're gonna give us a nice little brawl ski. And
I read an early review, obviously from people who were able to see it, and that's basically what they said. They said, Kong versus Godzilla does very good at knowing what it's supposed to be or what it wants to be, paying homage to the original MonsterVerse that set it up, and does a pretty good job tying a bow on this particular arc, like between Kong and Godzilla, and then hopefully leaving the door open and hopefully allowing for more monster movies. Because it's been 50 years since the last kind of entry in the monster universe.
I think I saw IGN's review, and it's like a 8 or 7 out of 10. And they do what you'd expect this movie to do. So I'd be down to see a nice whole brawl. I will say, I mean, I'm a Godzilla fan. I'm rooting for Godzilla, but all these trailers make it look like Godzilla's a bad guy. I don't know. They're saying, oh, we need Kong. He's our only hope. He's our only savior. Obviously, they could set up some curveball that Mecha Godzilla pops up and they fight.
Haven't you seen
together?
The most recent trailers?
Well, maybe not. Is it actually confirmed?
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
It's 100% confirmed. Yeah, it shows Kong, one of the most. So there's obviously got to be more to it, because I hate when movies give away like all the big shit like in a trailer. It's like blowing your load early. It's like, why go see it? Like fucking like Jesus. So one of the most recent trailers I saw, and I think it was on a trailer. I saw it somewhere. It might have been leaked footage too, I guess. That's entirely possible. But and so I might just be spoiling it for everybody. Everyone kind of knew that every YouTube like video, every movie YouTube channel that I kind of watch that follows that analyzes stuff like this pretty much assumed that Mechagodzilla was going to be in this, and I think almost everybody did, because generally speaking, it's never like a Kong and Godzilla never really fight each other one-on-one too much. Whenever Godzilla's fighting other monsters, they're usually threats to the earth, like King Ghidorah and stuff like that, or Ghidorah, whatever the hell his name was, like in the last movie. So, but yeah, I saw a clip of Mechagodzilla and like beating the shit out of regular Godzilla, and then Kong comes in to like save him from like a blast or whatever.
I mean, is this like actually? It's just confusing, because I know the director was always like, "Oh no, one of them is definitely gonna kill the other, or one of them's gonna like win and one of them's gonna lose."
Yeah.
So it seemed like they're trying to make it just the two of them fighting each other, but I doubt it's gonna happen. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But all I know is like Godzilla's my pick. Go Godzilla. Dude's a walking nuclear lizard. That's fucking awesome. The other guy's just a big ape.
Hey, I kind of like Kong. I'm not gonna lie.
Godzilla is just a badass.
Yeah, Godzilla is. Yeah. So that's interesting. I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty stoked for this movie. They destroy so much in all these movies. It's unreal how much they destroy. I think they did like a death toll or a not a death toll, a cost,
how much money?
Yeah, like a world GDP cost to like what the last movie was. And it was just like unreal how much money it like would have cost to fix all the damage. Because I mean, you're watching and you're like, they're big, like Kong and Godzilla, or Godzilla especially in the last movie. He's like he's a big lizard, and they attacked San Francisco, I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken. And it made the city look just like like massive expansive city. And it's like San Francisco's really like not as big as you're making it look. Like he'd have that whole city wiped in like pretty short amount of time. It was kind of the same gripe I had with Superman, the Superman movie, you know, when him and Zod are fighting in Metropolis, like how fast they move and how hard they hit. I mean, he would have been flying miles at a time, and it's like the city just went on forever. Metropolis is like 800 New York cities put together, and you're like, that's not real. So either way, I mean, yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what they do. I mean, it's like, I find it kind of funny that they're like, and with all the destruction that's happened in the last few movies, it's like, who had the money to build a Mechagodzilla? Like I feel like just the last two movies alone would set the human race back to the Stone Age, like with all the destruction.
I assume it's freaking the old school old man Lannister. He's the bad guy in the last kind of movie. He gets like a piece of who the hell is the big bad in the last one that's from outer space?
King Ghidorah.
He gets Ghidorah. He gets like a piece of his DNA, and I assume he wants to reproduce him and along the way make Mechagodzilla. But yeah, where the hell does man get the money to build that shit?
I don't know. Either way, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting. I'm excited to see it. Another movie I'm actually kind of pretty excited to see comes out like 2 weeks after Kong versus Godzilla is the Mortal Kombat movie, Mortal Kombat 2021. It looks good. I mean, it looks good. The trailer looked good. The directors, I've seen some stuff recently from the directors saying they want to stay as the fights like the fights and the abilities as true to the video games as they can make it. And they're pushing the boundaries of what
the R rating.
What R will allow. So which makes me believe that they want to get into like some pretty graphic fatalities.
Yeah. They want to make this a bloodbath, it seems like. So that's what Mortal Kombat was.
Yeah. The original, like, don't get me wrong, I love the original movies. They're very, it's just very, they're spoofy almost.
They say it's child's play compared to what they're going to try to do with this.
You know, it's fun, and it's become kind of like a cult movie, like a, you know, out of all the video game movies that have ever been made, not many of them are very good. From a pure film standpoint, the original Mortal Kombat movie is not very good, but from like an entertainment standpoint, it is much better than most every other video game movie that's been produced.
I agree.
So aside from Detective Pikachu, because it's probably the best video game movie that's been made, in my opinion.
Sonic wasn't bad. Sonic was good.
Sonic was good, actually. Yeah, I really did like Sonic. Yeah, that's actually true. And I'm pretty stoked for the second one.
Good enough to get a second one. So
yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how Mortal Kombat shakes out. I'm pretty interested to see it. It looks good. It's got me peaked. It's got my interest peaked.
Yeah, the trailers definitely have me thinking, all right, I'll check this out. It looks good. It really, like I said, it seems like they're gonna make this thing pretty brutal. So I'll be interested to see some of these fatalities and whatnot. Yeah, that'd be cool.
But it's definitely an interesting model too. I mean, the whole pandemic has shifted the way movies operate nowadays, and like so they're releasing in theaters, but you can also just get it right from HBO Max too.
There's so many of them, like in theaters and on HBO Max,
which is like,
is this the new norm that we're going to now?
I mean, I think so. There are so many people.
We could have added like Black Widow's coming to Disney Plus.
That's true.
Now finally, which is like good. Give me Marvel movie. I need a Marvel movie, man.
I know. Like, I don't want to digress too far. I want to get back to the movie topic, but like, yeah. WandaVision was good. Falcon and Winter Soldier so far is really good, but I mean, nothing kind of beats like a Marvel movie. Like the shows are great, but the movies are fantastic. And the previews and the trailers from the Black Widow movie before the pandemic and everything like that looked so good. Like the scene where they're all flying, like they like the airplane there and gets blown up, and they're just like, all right, time to go to work, and like they're all just kind of flying through the air, and you're like, okay, like, how's this going to work? Like, you have no powers. So, So either way, back to the movie topic. Like, I do think, I do think it's going to be shifting that way. Like, I mean, because who really, like, don't get me wrong, I love going to the movies because like there are certain movies that are just worth seeing on the big screen. But 99% of the time, if I can spend the same amount of money to watch it at home in my own couch that I would to go there, buy the tickets, buy the snacks, buy the drinks, I'm gonna choose at home most of the time. Just because where I live, it's just the traffic to get to the movie theater is absolutely nuts. Parking is ridiculous. It's a hassle. And to have everything be able to get it just at home and watch it when it comes out in the movie theaters, but just watching it at home, like, I mean, that's kind of awesome. Yes.
I don't really have those issues. For my gripe is just like, the cost of snacks and foods and stuff is annoying, but I mean, I do enjoy watching some movies here and there on the couch, but big blockbusters, I really miss going to the movie theaters and sitting there and just being immersed in it. So I'm looking forward to some stuff opening up again, because I would love to. I guess you don't really know. You don't know what you're missing until it's gone. I really miss seeing movies. It's been forever since I've seen a movie, and I'm like, God damn, I really want to go and see something in the theater. So I'm looking forward to when something can open up, and I'm gonna be there ASAP.
No, that's true. That's true. So yeah. So 2 movies, Kong versus Godzilla on the 31st, Mortal Kombat on the 16th. That'll do it for the non-video game talk. I mean, technically, both of those franchises have had plenty of video games.
Yeah, they've all
Mortal Kombat's a video
games.
game franchise first. So, but they're movies.
It all works.
Yeah, exactly. It all meshes together. Just think about it. PlayStation, the PlayStation Store in particular, I saw this today. I thought this was pretty interesting. I mean, not wholly unexpected, but you got to imagine there's still plenty of people with, especially the PS3. I mean, the Vita and the PSP, but basically PS3, the PS Vita, and the PSP are all getting cut off from the PlayStation Store this summer. So they'll no longer support those devices. I saw the original article and it said older consoles, and I was like, oh, they're gonna can the PS4 already? Which, I mean, inside like my rational brain was like no, but like my irrational like skepticism of all gaming industry things brain was like, oh, they're gonna do it, like they're gonna fuck everybody over.
The nuke is coming.
Yeah, but no, it's only the PS3, PS Vita, and the PSP. I mean, I don't
the
know.
Vita and the PSP, I am not surprised by it all. Who even owns those things anymore anyways? The PS3, kind of, I guess. I mean, to me, it's 2 generations back. I mean, we have the PS5 now, the PS4, so I can see the PS3, get canned. That one's kind of like, it's on the fence of that, but the Vita and the PSP, I'm like, okay, yeah, those things were even still existing.
No, it's
the one guy in his PSP is pissed off.
But that, coupled with the fact that there are also reports out there that Sony is attempting to patent PS3, PS2, and PS1 emulation for games on the PS5, probably go hand in hand. The fact that they're going to shut down the store or remove access to the store to these older generation consoles, definitely lines up with these reports that they're working on emulation for older consoles, PS3, PS2, PS1, to be able to play on the PS5. I've even seen some reports where they could play hard disk versions of the games. I don't know how true that is. I believe the emulation a lot more than I believe the hard disk.
For sure, I agree.
On a system as powerful as the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, and emulation's really not that challenging. You can run an emulator on your cell phone for things like, like the DS and Game Boy Advance and things like that. So obviously it's lower
difference. Yep.
But I mean, at the same time that, your cell phone is less powerful than your PS5 and it's emulating something less powerful than a PS1, but that ratio is like kind of the same almost, you know what I mean? Like the power, the performance difference between the two things that you're working on is kind of similar as far as PS5 to PS1 and cell phone to Game Boy Advance. So it'll be interesting. I mean, let's be honest. none of the consoles are doing great right now, in the sense that like they're doing great sales wise, but they're not doing great game wise. Like there's nothing to play. Nothing has been released.
Yeah, the big blockbusters are still to come. It's like a weird, like, you get hyped up for the launch and then it launches, but there's like nothing, like the good stuff still to come.
Yep.
So we're kind of just sitting here in limbo of, I have a PS5, but it's not quite that like blockbuster game out yet for it. So yeah, it's kind of a limbo here. So I guess fill a space here. We'll give you emulations of. I feel like the gaming world's default, if there's nothing going on, well, let's just remake something.
Just like the movies,
remaster something. Yeah, let's just bring back nostalgia for everyone. So I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd be dope to see
Twisted Metal 2 instantly.
Ooh,
is Twisted Metal 2 is one of
great.
my favorite games of all time. So yeah, I'd be on that in a heartbeat.
See, I'm trying. Yeah, now I gotta think of like what old school PlayStation games I would want to see even be emulated. I mean, that'd be a good thought. But yeah, Twisted Metal, that was a blast. I love that game.
Yeah,
that'd definitely be one of them.
I've actually seen a lot. My increased time on TikTok has actually. Matt's running to the bathroom. My increased time on TikTok has actually led me to find a lot of people that are very upset with PlayStation because of kind of the lack of content. So they're very mad at PlayStation, whereas like the things that they're using in defense, or not defense, but to kind of put PlayStation up against Microsoft is like Microsoft bought Bethesda, they've done this and they've done that. So like, granted, no games have materialized from that acquisition or from any of the other acquisitions that they've done. Nothing yet, at least. That just makes their pipeline much bigger. And, the Sony fanboys are kind of pissed at Sony that like they haven't really done a whole lot. This may serve to be kind of a reversal of the previous gen, where Microsoft came in all hot shit thinking that they were going to ride it hard, no big deal, going to cruise right to the championship, and then Sony came in and pulled the rug out from under them. Sony's not doing a whole lot right now. They're just banking on their franchises that did so well in PS4, whereas Microsoft's stacking up all these W's that Microsoft might come in and sweep the rugs right underneath PS5 in this generation, much like PS4 did to the Xbox One. So we'll see. I was just talking about how my time on TikTok has led me to stumble upon people that are very negative about Sony and the moves that they have not made compared to the moves that Microsoft and Xbox have made. I
mean, yeah, that carries some truth. They haven't really done anything, but they're obviously, it's a fine line. Like they haven't done anything, but at the same time, I feel like they don't have to do something sometimes. Like you can't rest on your laurel, the victories. You can't just get complacent, but at the same time they're gonna have some banger games coming out soon that will do just fine. But yeah, I mean, Microsoft definitely is putting in the work. You can see that. So I guess Sony could stand to maybe do something to just fire back a little bit.
No, and I have the same sentiment. I mean, yes, like based on the performance of the games that they're hanging their hat on from last generation, and like just the lack of games in general from Microsoft, you would say, all right, like they've got it easily. Like the big games, Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, Jesus, what was the other one? Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima were all PS4s.
I was trying to think of those, but they'll probably do PS5 upgrades for those games,
and my assumption is
just as well.
And my assumption is there'll be sequels to those. Red Dead potentially as well, but Red Dead wasn't PS only. But yeah, I mean, so they're sitting there. Spider-Man, that was that already came out too, so that was the other one I think I was trying to dig for. But yeah, I mean, so they're sitting there thinking that they've got it in the bag just because of the Goliaths of the gaming, gaming franchises that they have, which is entirely possible. But the amount of studios that Microsoft scooped up and their potential for bangers is very high. You know, they're a very to go to a sports metaphor, they're very similar to what the Boston Red Sox always are. They have a very strong potential for home runs like left and right, but they also have a very strong and equally similar possibility to fall flat on their face. You know, and true. So that's kind of where they're at. So that it's an unknown for Microsoft. You know, most people are assuming they're going to have some killer games, but that's not really a known quantity as of now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're not gonna have nothing for the rest of eternity. So they'll have something soon.
But speaking of Microsoft and one of the moves they've made, Discord. Everyone knows Discord. Everyone should know Discord. Matt and I are using Discord right now to do this little video conference for the podcast. It's awesome. It's great. I hate using in-game comms. And I hate using Xbox Party Chat to talk when we play with Call of Duty and stuff like that. We've all been clamoring for Discord on the consoles for how long? We may just get it somewhat because Microsoft is in talks to buy Discord for $10 billion. Like they are flexing their wallets left and right. Like everybody knows that Microsoft money, those are deep pockets.
That shit don't run out.
It doesn't. I mean, they just bought Bethesda for $7 billion or something like that. You know, it was $1 billion. It was B. It wasn't 10. I don't think it was 10, or was it more? I can't remember. Jesus Christ, we just talked about it 2 weeks ago. I can't remember.
I'll just pull up a quick thing. I personally would have to assume that a studio like Bethesda would be worth more than Discord, but I think Discord is widely used.
I'll say Discord is used for much more than just gaming.
Yeah, and I agree. I can't remember anything about that, but hold on, I'm just trying to outline. So I'm curious now that you said that because
my brain is I have the memory of a goldfish.
$7.5 billion.
God, I am good. Sometimes I'm right on. So yeah, so $3 billion more. If Discord is valued at $3 billion more than Bethesda as a whole, which
3.5, sir. It's 7.5.
So either way, they're flexing their wallets again. Deep pockets that just don't seem to run out. I mean, that's basically $17.5 billion in the first quarter of 2021 that they're going to be dishing out.
Interesting too what they're doing. They're buying game studio to obviously bolster the games, and now they're buying like a company that can help bolster in a non-gaming way. Like if you can get Discord integration onto your console. So they're kind of like they're touching in multiple different areas that they think can assist them. And I just want to say, like, I just want to give Microsoft just, free advice. All you got to do once you buy Discord, just one thing, all you got to do is just make an app that you can use on Xbox. That's the only thing you need to do with Discord. Don't touch anything else. Leave it as it is. It's just fine. Just making an app on Xbox. That's all I say.
The other thing I would add to that is, for the love of God, as much as I know they probably don't want to, make an app for the PlayStation 2, because otherwise, as all of this goes down the tube, like the greener pastures of talking with your friends on multiple consoles on Discord goes out the window, at least for me and you, because one of our main friends plays on PlayStation.
Hey, we'll just buy Bill an Xbox at that point in time. But I was thinking, like, when we play like Rooney, like all those guys, and Aaron. Like I have more friends on Xbox that I would benefit.
Oh, I get
just sliding a nice little app, a Discord app on Xbox, and all of a sudden, oh my God, I can use Discord with all my Xbox friends. I mean, hallelujah.
And they may just even bake it in directly, so it's not even an app. It's just part of the system, and you go, hey, I'm gonna jump in the server.
They just can like Microsoft chat or whatever you want to call it, and they just Discord is their default comms. That'd be great.
And me personally, just the amount of time I spend playing with my buddy Bill, it would be nice if they allowed PlayStation to have an app to have integration with it as well.
Dab a little bit.
It would be nice. And let's be honest, I mean, this whole like the whole idea of like console wars and this deep segregation between this ecosystem, like, I mean, get that out of there. Like, I mean, we're all friends. We're all trying to play games together. Obviously, yes, there are going to be some console specific games. I'm totally okay with that. But like something as basic as Discord, just give it to everybody. Like, let everybody have it. Let everybody use it. Let everybody talk with it. Because then, you know, you're opening up. Yes, they have the Nitro. You know, they have the Nitro membership. And right now, I mean, it's only for PC. You open it up and maybe you can have the membership, you know, for the Xbox and the PlayStation. Like you're gaining a whole new batch of people to take money from. And that's really all they're about. So
I say that's all they are really looking forward to, I would assume. So
yeah. So it's interesting. It's another big move for Microsoft buying Discord, flexing their wallets again.
That's like an instant win. Obviously, you know, buying Bethesda, it comes down to what games do they make console exclusive or Xbox exclusive and whatnot. So that's like a question mark. Maybe buying Discord, I think, is a win. Just
100%.
Already, just off the bat, boom, you bought them. Okay, that's a win.
And they've also rebranded their live service, like Xbox Live service. This jogged my memory. I knew there was something else I wanted to talk about as far as Microsoft, but it was like Xbox Live and then like Xbox Live Gold or what, because Xbox, they're calling it the Xbox Network, I think now, where that's just the general level, like the general access to the internet and like the connected things, and then your actual like paid service to play games and to yada yada yada. That's going to stay as Xbox Live, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So like they're trying to make a differentiation, because as of now both things are just called Xbox Live, and they want to make kind of a separation between the free stuff that everybody gets with just the console and then the paid membership, the $60 a year to do all the extra fun things, which, I mean, it's not groundbreaking. I mean, it makes things less confusing, which I think is always good. So, you know, for anyone who hasn't had an Xbox for decades like us, like it's good, you know, in that sense. It's not like they're jacking the price up. Although they did announce, wasn't it Xbox that announced, like, I don't know, this was like a while ago. I think we forgot. We either talked about it. Yeah, we did.
No, we talked about it. They tried to like double it. And then
they were going to double it. And then literally the internet mobs were like, no, you're not. And they're like, yeah, no, we're not. So, you know, they tried. That was probably the first step. They tried that and it didn't work. And they're like, well, all right, I guess we'll just, you know, separate them to make, you know, Xbox Network and Xbox Live. And, you know, now they're like, that's what they say now. And then like 2 weeks from now, they're going to say, well, Xbox Network isn't free anymore. It's going to cost $5, you know, a month extra. And then the Xbox Live, you can get that's $60 for the year, you know, and that gives you everything that Xbox Network does plus some. So, but you can do either or, you know, that's probably what they're going to do, something like that. So they're going to try to get money from everybody.
Well, they'll probably try something soon. Who knows?
Yeah. So
they gotta get some money back. They're dropping money on Discord and Bethesda. They gotta get back somehow.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. So Microsoft, some Sony, some Microsoft stuff. You know, there's still, you know, it's a very dry time right now for games, for new games. But there's still things happening. There's still stuff happening. There's moves being made. We're still very early on in the current generation. So you know, it's not time for the panic button yet. I mean, it's getting, I wouldn't say it's even getting close, but like it's exacerbated by the fact that everyone's at home all the time. So like, if that wasn't the case, the lack of games wouldn't be as big of a deal, but because everyone is home all the time and wanting to play games, they spent $700, well, depending on where you bought it, and what you got, you spent, you know, $500 on your new console. Other than playing Warzone, there's not really a whole lot else to do with it right now. But I thought this was interesting. We'll segue kind of away from the console manufacturers. Tencent, a developer, one of the big Chinese developers.
Mobile, right?
What?
They made PUBG Mobile.
Yeah. I think and they made PUBG Mobile, and I think they're part owner of PUBG Group as a whole.
Okay, I thought so too. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, but they're massive. They're a massive like developer company in China. They just helped bust one of the biggest cheat providers like in the world. So they helped the Chinese government bust this massive cheat developer that was like making like $760 million a year on cheats. It was like $10,000 a day at least, or something like that.
$460 million from cheats.
I know.
Holy shit!
It's unreal. The amount of money like these beta human beings will pay.
Tencent to come and just stake out America and find all the Warzone cheaters.
I know. Well, part of me wants to know how this will affect the Warzone cheats.
True, like people could be buying from who they busted, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
With making that much money, you gotta assume that they're dabbling in.
I would imagine. I just don't know if they're the biggest Warzone cheating company, but like one would imagine they had a branch that did Warzone cheats for sure. So this may help. The big problem really with the Warzone cheats, they just had another big ban of like 40,000 accounts or something like that. So
it's 400,000 actually.
Well, it's 400,000 total in all the ban waves. I think the most recent one was like a 40,000 wave, but there's been about 400,000 banned total since they've been doing all the ban waves. But the big problem with that is like, you know, everyone was like, oh yeah, it's great. And then like literally over the weekend, the main cheat site, like that, I don't know about the main cheat site, but like one of the main ones that everybody knows about that everyone tracks, they got their things updated and they're back at it and they're unblocked, undetected again. So it's like
cool.
The source code issue that we talked about like 4 or 5 episodes ago, probably, where like there was supposedly a leak inside of Activision, Treyarch, Ravensoft, whatever, that's giving the source code to the cheat websites. That's been all but confirmed from like a few different YouTubers, from an interview with a hacker on TikTok, like a couple, you know, interviews with hackers. I mean, they could just be saying, TikTok's not the end all be all authority on true and real things, but it's been confirmed in multiple places. So like how effectively can you actually combat the cheats and get away from the cheaters if your source code is out there? You know, like I think that's everybody's main question. And like, how does that affect your ability to make an anti-cheat if your source code's out there, or implement an anti-cheat if your source code's out there? I just don't know. That's a hanging question in my book.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, I know they did this recent ban wave, but I feel like whenever they do a ban wave, I feel like I see more cheaters in lobbies after a ban wave. I feel like I've seen a few pop up here and there that I'm kind of like throwing question marks at. But I mean, it's awesome to see Tencent do that. I really wish we could, let's have Activision or Blizzard, whoever, Ravensoft, whoever owns it now. Let's see them get as aggressive as Tencent here.
I know.
Go bust some doors down, just like on the ground.
Well, the thing with Tencent is probably they probably own stock in the second most lucrative cheat company, Tencent. So they had to bust the first one so that they could get some better profits. Whereas here in America, Activision probably has, you know, stock in or is getting kickback from the top cheat maker. So that's why they're not really going to do any busting or anything like that. You know, it's my guess.
True.
If I had to base things on evidence reality, that would be my assumption is, you know, they're in cahoots with them, because that's the only thing that makes sense given the amount, that the total disregard for cheating that they have.
Yeah. It's pretty ridiculous. I feel like they just do not care about it at all. Like, screw it. We are making so much money. I don't give an F if you run into a hacker or two here or there. They just do not care right now.
They don't.
Which, that attitude will not. The game won't last with that attitude. There's just, unfortunately, there's nothing new there's no new game to push back on them right now.
Yeah. One new game down the road, I've heard October-ish, is Battlefield 6. There's been some more rumors. You know, we're getting more information on Battlefield 6 as we get closer. So some interesting stuff. I mean, if I had my my opinion, I've always been more of a COD person than a Battlefield person. I like Battlefield. I played a lot of Battlefield 4, and I played a lot of Battlefield 1, but I haven't played, outside of those two games, I haven't played a ton, but I've still really mostly been a COD person. But it's interesting. So what little bit of info that's been released recently, it's a futuristic set, you know. We're not going to be back in World War I, World War II like they've been in for the past couple games. Not like Call of Duty is going back to, which actually we didn't even. That's how much I don't even really care about the next game itself. Is we didn't even put that on.
It doesn't matter.
No,
really.
It doesn't really.
It's just all matters is okay. What guns are you gonna give me back in the inventory zone?
Exactly. So Battlefield 6, futuristic, set in 2025 apparently. So there'll be campaign and multiplayer. I don't think anyone really questioned that. I mean, there was Hardline. Hardline did not have a campaign per se. It was all like, it was much like Black Ops 4, where it was like operator missions to get more backstory on the operator. There's actually like no like main story. But you know, the last few Battlefield games have had storylines, so I don't think that's really a question. They're going to have abilities. A lot like COD perks, which
interesting to see.
Exactly, but I absolutely can 100%.
First time they've had perks in a Battlefield. Okay,
and I can 100% guarantee that the Battlefield elitists are going to shit their pants about this. And
if they're like,
I'm not playing this trash game. Like it's Call of Duty. Like so I don't want to play this. Like
if they're broken perks that like ruin the game, they will be mad. But I guess minute things, maybe the elitists will let it pass. But yeah, I feel like this might rub some diehard Battlefield boys the wrong way.
But at the same time, a lot of the most recent games have kind of pushed off a lot of diehard Battlefield fans, anyways, because like 3 and 4, I think, are kind of considered the last like true good Battlefield games. Like, even though the other ones are fun, but those are the last ones that had, you know, like actual like team play, and it was very tactical. You know, not so much 4, more so 3. But I mean, Battlefield 3 is like 10, 15 years old at this point, probably, maybe even more than that.
So I feel like 4 was
played 4
really good, but a while ago.
Yeah, that was like 8 years ago at least. So either way, some perks, some abilities, sort of like perks. There's going to be some military drones, robots, jets. I'm assuming these are like the vehicles in the large scale maps that you can play.
Yeah, there's like 64 or 62 versus 62 type of stuff.
Which that shit's so much fun. That's all I ever play when I go play Battlefield.
That's like the breath of fresh air playing those type of games. Yeah, the big large scale maps you can have battles on.
And I just loved like the destroyable like environment. Like there's a lot of stuff like in Battlefield 4. I remember the city map. You could take down the fucking skyscraper. Like I've been in the top of the skyscraper, like sniping people as it falls, and you have to like you run off and you jump and you just like rip your chute. It's like. It was so
one of the Cinemax they had to advertise that game.
Yeah,
it was epic.
There was some very cool sequences that happened in game with just the engine and the destructible environment and all that stuff. It was a lot of fun. So and there's going to be 4 soldier classes to choose from, which I think they've always had classes per se, like you had your scout, your sniper, your medic, all that jazz. So like that's nothing new. It'll obviously determine the weapons that you have and the equipment that you have and stuff like that. And there's going to be multiplayer, obviously, like we mentioned, and it's going to be very much like Battlefield 3 or 4, but on steroids. So that in and of itself is very promising. Sounds very promising. No mention of a BR yet. I mean, at this point in time, like a first-person shooter franchise from a AAA game company, not releasing without a BR, sounds strange. Like who knows? Like if they'll do it. I mean, I feel like they have to, like, to compete. I was actually talking with our friend today I was talking with Bill about battle royales and like just how, and we'll expand a little bit more on it when we talk about Warzone, because as always, you're never going to get out of an episode without us talking about Warzone. So, but we were just going back and forth. We're like, man, the game, like, it's such a shitty place right now. We're like, yeah. And I'm like, I was just like, they need another BR. Like, they're just sitting on their laurels right now because there's no other competition out there. Mm-hmm. You know, everyone's got their stock in the Battlefield BR and in a Halo BR. Mm-hmm. Neither of which have been confirmed to my knowledge. Halo has actively said there's going to be no BR, which I just think is asinine. Like, they have a lot of stuff in place already to make a great BR. Like, all the maps could be connected really well to make one giant map. They have they've always had vehicles. So like, there's no weird like vehicle driving, like mechanics you got to add in, like none of that shit. Like, they've always had vehicles. They've always had that stuff. Like, they have the equipment for it, like shield bubbles, all that stuff from all the previous games. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so they're pretty primed. You know, Battlefield tried their hand at a BR. They did that Firestorm situation last game? Yeah, either way. It wasn't great. It was good, but it wasn't like on the scale that Warzone is, obviously. But it's like there's just nothing out there to challenge Warzone. One of these companies needs to drop their BR as a standalone game, much like Apex did, just out of the blue, out of nowhere, to just knock Call of Duty back a little bit, because Call of Duty knows, as of now, you know, both of these games are set to come out late 2021. So they know they can just fuck off for the next few months.
Until then.
And then they're going to like go through and just soup everything up and fix all the things we've been wanting to fix when the games come, when the competitor games come out to release. That way, you know, they're on par, but it's like, that just is bad for us for the next few months. Whereas, you know, the real power move would be to just drop one of these, you know, BRs, whether it's Halo or Battlefield, randomly out of the blue, much like Apex did, and just sucker punch Warzone, get them backing up. I don't think Warzone will ever go away. Like, it's going to be like Fortnite. Fortnite's not gone. It's much less in like,
it's just not as popular
in its like popularity on Twitch. I mean, it's still a big game. There's still a lot of people that play it. It's just not anywhere near to where it was. I think Warzone will kind of always be like that too, because there's so many Call of Duty fans, but it needs a good humbling punch. Like, it needs a good sock to the face to like humble them. Because right now they think their shit doesn't stink, and their shit stinks very much.
I've always thought that, like, you know, Halo would be the best BR to combat Warzone right now. But the more we've talked about it, the more I think about Battlefield. I feel like Battlefield could really put out a great BR. And it came to mind when you mentioned the whole destructible building and shit like that. Imagine downtown in Warzone, you have everyone camping on fucking buildings this shit. Imagine you just go and blow it up. Like, oh, hey, you're camping. Goodbye. See you later. Bring that shit down. That would be great. And I feel like
I don't know the scale and the resources that they would need from a server standpoint to get that happening on like 100 instances, you know, for 100, 150 players. But if they can do it, I mean,
or at least let me blow a hole in a wall. Just like, oh, you're there. Let me just shoot a rocket, and now I can see where you are.
Yeah.
And I also feel like as much fun as COD is, a lot of the problems with broken guns, like the metas that we've seen, is that just because COD, the guns are laser beams, whereas in Battlefield you actually have to lead your shots and shit like that.
It's more realistic. Yeah.
I feel like Battlefield BR would kind of be a nice little marriage of like PUBG and COD. Like, you gotta have the aiming of PUBG where there's bullet drop and this and that, but you get the just better graphics and
the faster pace.
The faster pace and stuff of COD just kind of melded together. So I mean, the more we talk about it, the more I can think about it. I feel like Battlefield, they could really drop something that could turn some heads and challenge Warzone and make them kind of, you know, fix their shit and be more on top of their things.
I don't disagree with you at all. I think that's very true. And I've always kind of wanted the the destructible environment. Like ever since Battlefield's had it, and ever since I played Battlefield games, like that's always one of the things I'm like, man, like, they're camping right here. I want to just blow a hole in this wall. And that way, not even that you're going to kill them with blowing that hole in the wall, but that allows you to throw things in there at a different angle than it could be before. Exactly. And you could hit them, it just
can't only walk up one stairs, and that's where they're looking. They can blow a hole anywhere in here. We got to be ready.
You have to be adaptable in your defense, and you have to be adaptable in your attacking strategy. And just the more ways to do those things, the more ways that are available for you to defend, but also the more ways that are available for you to attack is just better for the longevity of the game, because you don't get stale. You don't go to the same firehouse and you hold the same exact stair angle that every 10 million player on Warzone that plays Warzone altogether, all the players in the world hold the same spots the same way, because that's just how you do it. It won't, that would be the case with some destructible buildings, destructible environments, all that kind of stuff. So I'm open to either one. I'd love to see a Halo BR for sure. But yeah, I mean, I kind of right there with you on the Battlefield BR for sure. So
yeah, hoping, maybe they learn something from their past BR. I know I said, I think last episode, obviously COD had Blackout BR, which was fine. People were like, whatever, it's okay. Now Warzone hits like gangbuster, so maybe Battlefield can have it. Okay, we had our first BR. It was fine. We learned from it. Now here's our next one, and also it's the gangbuster. So I assume they probably learned something. Let's see if they can
implement whatever they learn, put it into play.
Exactly.
But speaking of Warzone, like I said, if you thought you're going to get out of here without talking about Warzone, you're crazy. The popular SBMMWarzone.com website is getting, or did, I don't know if the cease and desist actually went through. I was pretty sure, like I saw it on the weekend, and they were like saying that Monday was like the D-Day for the cease and desist. Activision was hitting them with a cease and desist, shut down their website, stop using the API to provide stats. And they were like, they were clamoring, like, help us, please save it. But in all reality, they did it to themselves, because part of the terms of use for the API is that no one other than Activision can profit from it. And the SBMMWarzone.com app had paid memberships to be able to see more in-depth stats, like your gulag win percentage and all that kind of stuff. And so that's, from what I've seen and what I've looked into, that's why they're getting the cease and desist. That's why Activision is pursuing them to shut them down, is because of that fact, because they're making money off their API, and Activision's not getting a cut of that money. And we all know Activision.
So, I mean,
you'd think like they went through the process to set it up.
They jumped to tear down an SBMM website, but I mean, you can't do anything about a hacker website.
Because they got to keep their SBM mystery. Like, how does SBM work? Like, no one can know. Like, it's magic.
Seeing it, like, he's like, no, they're afraid of us seeing SBMM. Like, they're afraid of us knowing about it.
Yeah, they don't want the players like understanding SBMM so that you can game it more. So it's all gonna be smoke. It's all gonna be smoke and mirrors. I mean, on top of like general SBMM, there's a very strong growing like argument and batches of evidence cropping up all over the place that, like, not only is SBMM taking place when they're matching you for games, but it's also kind of hitting you mid game. Like you're getting you'll get nerfed mid game. Like your bullets don't do as much damage. Like if you're on a heater, your bullets don't do as much damage.
Really?
Yeah. I've seen tons of clips where like people are killing it like crazy. I got like 20 kills, and then they encounter an enemy and they're like just lasering them, and it doesn't kill them, and like the other person turns around and just absolutely wipes you real quick. Or like random glitches hit, like that glitches that I've never seen. Like I saw this guy on the old TikTok. He was on he was at like a 30 bomb, and next thing you know, like he couldn't reload. He had no arms. Like he couldn't and it's like glitches you like I have never seen. Like, and not that I've seen all of them, and not that I know of all of them, but like glitches I've never heard about, glitches that no one's ever talked about. J God's never covered. No one in like the COD info communities have ever mentioned. This guy somehow like got them all because he was just ripping and tearing through the lobby. Activision has a patent on the books for mid-game scaling difficulty and stuff like that. They say it's more for like your Destiny style games or games like where you're fighting AI, like it's meant to scale the AI as you're going through, but it could easily be adopted to scaling hit points of players, scaling your damage, because like you're not changing how the opponent moves or anything like that. You're just changing the parameters of like either the damage that they're taking or the health that they have. Like that's all you're tweaking on the fly. That's like all they would have to tweak on the fly. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. So it's like,
that's fucking nuts. If any of that is true, I would like these big name streamers or pros who can drop big games. I'd be fucking livid and pissed off because like, okay, how many times do you think this might have happened to me? That's
I mean, it's in my experience, it is the only, I don't want to say only because that's a very, it's a very presumptuous statement as far as my skill as a sniper. But there are many situations that is the only explanation for why I am not downing people. Because there are plenty of shots that I have shot people in the head. Like all that's visible is their head. There is no other way it hit any other place than their brains. And it doesn't down that, it breaks their armor. You know what I mean? So like from an anecdotal standpoint, I'm all in. I believe it 110% because I feel like it's happened to me a ton of times when it comes to sniping. So
hey, I mean, I'm down to get on board with anything that will take them down a peg or make them fix their shit a little bit. So yeah, it's happening. You heard here first, folks. Going down.
So there's obviously the SBM and Warzone thing, but there's a big old patch coming tonight. And by big old, I mean really shitty and really stupid.
Just legit mean it's big.
It's big. It's just physically, they're literally trying to destroy your hard drives. That's all. At this point, I think it's already surpassed what the base original PS4 can handle. So if you have Warzone, Modern Warfare, and Black Ops Cold War, you have to choose something to get rid of. Most people probably going to can Modern Warfare in that case. But either way, having all three on your hard drive is not a possibility on the base level original PS4 and probably by extension the original Xbox One. Because both of those were 500 gig hard drives, I believe.
I believe so.
And it's unfucking believable that having all three of those installed on your fucking machine is over 500 gigs. Like you're half a terabyte. Like come the fuck on.
That's a bit much. I mean, they told that it's gonna be a 50 to 60 gigabyte update, but it will reduce the size by the end of everything.
It's a 50 to 60 gigabyte update for just Warzone. But if you have like on PC, for example, if you have Modern Warfare, it's going to be 130 gigabyte update. But it will, at the end of it, you'll get 10 to 14 gigabytes back. So, like 10% of the install size back after.
For me, like most of the time, like I'm at the point where it's honestly like one of my SSDs is strictly for Warzone, and I'm getting to that point where
I'm gonna need a new one.
Not even that, like yes, you'll give me some space back, but I don't have enough space to do the initial update. I don't have 50 gigabytes to do the update to then get back the 10 that will help me save it. So it's like, do I have to uninstall it and then reinstall the entire thing so then I will get that space back?
You can go into like the installer in the Blizzard app, and you can choose like uninstall sections. So like, given that you probably aren't playing the Modern Warfare campaign anymore, you could uninstall the campaign files.
That shit has been uninstalled for a long time.
You could I was gonna say you could just uninstall Modern Warfare altogether, but I don't know.
We jump on
still do that, still play that
every now and then.
But I mean, it's unreal, the size. So 50 to 60 gigabytes on pretty much all the consoles.
Think, folks, that the big update, you could get something good out of it. Josh him with all the good stuff we get out of this update.
If you're a Warzone only player, you're going to get 2 new operators, a lovely sniper rifle, even though you already have the AUG fully leveled, so that sniper rifle doesn't matter anymore.
I say, will this sniper help me combat an AUG, good sir? No,
and then
not.
Lots of lovely weapon tuning. Oh wait, that weapon tuning is only for Cold War.
Is that only for Cold War?
Yes.
I remember. I remember Tim, like Cloaksy, all of them talking about a few days ago. Like, oh, there's a big weapon tuning thing coming.
As far as I know, it's.
I think
only
I remember
for,
hearing someone saying is only for.
Yeah.
Cold War. I was like, oh, great, thanks.
Yeah, so they're really gonna push us through the AUG zone.
I know you probably don't like. It's just dumb. Like if you're gonna adjust Cold War guns in Cold War, wouldn't you want then the reflect in Warzone the same thing? So
I mean, they were never. They never 1-to-1 anyways.
It's true. So now it's like even more like they also do a fuck this. Like,
they literally don't care anymore.
2 different stats or 2 different guns in 2 different games.
I'm surprised they're doing anything to Cold War at all. Like Cold War and Modern Warfare are essentially dead, like from a development standpoint. Like they don't do anything for them anymore. But yeah, it's.
So why waste the time to tune guns in multiplayer of Cold War when you know your entire audience needs tuning on stuff in Warzone?
It's unreal, man. I mean, like they're gonna put this sniper rifle in. It's like there's not. I mean, yes, the car. There are still plenty of people that are running FFAR in car, but I mean, the vast majority of your players, of the the really good players, the high skilled players, they're running FFAR and AUG. And so you do anything to the FFAR or the AUG. Like a new sniper rifle is not going to mean anything.
Shit.
Although I think we told you this story when we were playing over the weekend on Friday. So I got killed. I got killed by this guy with a Strela. He shot me through the wood. Like I was kind of blown away by how he was able to lock. Oh shit.
Are you frozen there, bud?
Yeah. Cat was calling me. So my phone. I'm using my phone for my camera. So I was surprised that the Strela was able to make it through all the foliage and hit me in the first place. Either way, whatever. But it did. I was on the most wanted anyways. I start spectating this kid, and he's got a green XM4. I'm like, okay, because he dropped that. He dropped the Strela or whatever for the XM4. He swaps his weapon, and he has a loadout AUG, but it's a Modern Warfare AUG. We're like, bro, you're really not up to date on these things, huh? Like you don't really understand that there's 2 different AUGs right now. I mean, I know it makes no sense, and the reason why it was done, no one really knows. But there are 2 AUGs. The other one's the really powerful one, not the one that you have.
So the tactical rifle, not the SMG.
I know. So it's like, oh man. But yeah, dude, it's a tough time. I mean, honestly, it's worse than the DMR zone, I think. Me personally, the DMR zone still took some skill. The AUG, they lowered it to make it just so anybody can just fry with it.
Yeah,
and it's like you get put down in a blink of an eye.
Yep. And I would kind of say like in the beginning of DMR zone, it was DMR and Diamante, so people would ghost off the rip. Now, at least with people going far and all, they're not ghosted, so you can see them to maybe fight back. But I don't know.
Everything just fries so fast. Like you close to medium range is covered because the far just melts, and then your medium not too long because admittedly the AUG isn't great at super long distances, but I mean your medium range is locked down pat with the AUG. Like you're gonna get, like if you're out in the open or you peek a little, like it just, you're done. Like it's unreal.
Like a battlefield, like because you won't be like get fried as fast as you do because their guns don't just shoot like laser beams at people. So they actually need skills, and I don't know if guns could be broken because they don't just shoot like laser beams. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I agree. It's tough. The Warzone is like the only thing that for like a competitive BR that's out there worth playing. I say personally, I mean, Apex is fine, whatnot, but Warzone, it's just fun to play with friends. I mean, I think you've said it. I've talked to Aaron, and he said too, like it mainly comes down to playing games with friends, and Warzone is very easy and accessible to play with friends. But after a few reps, it turns into, okay, this fucking sucks.
Just getting bent over a barrel by skill-based matchmaking. I mean, that's really like, I've said it a million times. I'll probably say it a million more times. If you want to screw us with SBMM, give us a ranked mode. Put a ranked mode in there so you can keep your beautiful, lovely SBMM, and then give us a casual, unranked pub playlist so that when we want to play with our friends, just fucking around, we don't have to fight against a lobby full of Nick Merckx's. We can go in and maybe get a couple, but have a more easier time. Whereas right now it's just all dead shots, crack shots, the sweatiest players on the fucking face of the planet.
It feels extra sweaty lately, and I think I know Nick Merckx has talked about it before. It's like just a cycle of a gaming life. Like they haven't done much to change the game, so all the casuals are leaving.
There's no new players. There's every time. So I still have that Warzone.
All the sways people.
Yeah. I still have that Warzone companion app, and it, obviously not everyone's made their stats public. So it's not going to work for everybody, but it's still a pretty good gauge. And it's like every person I die to is at least level 300. There are no new players. And part of that is the skill level we're at. So I will say that, but even when we're when I'm playing with my other friends, when I'm playing with Bill and Tim and Sean, we will occasionally get matched in 0.85, 0.9 lobbies, and just everyone in those there's still there's no one below level 200. So there are no and granted, I've forgotten, you may get to that level just from maxing your guns out to be able to use them. Maybe they're playing Modern Warfare multiplayer to get their guns set up so they can use them in Warzone. Maybe that's the case. And it's in conjunction with Cold War now too. So maybe they've done Cold War leveling. So they may be new players. They've just got a lot of time in multiplayer. But there's just nobody. There's no one below. There's just no new players. No new players. It's all sweats that have just been there.
That Wednesday that we played, it was legit. Every other team had TTV in their name and the skins. It was the sweatiest, hardest time in Warzone I've ever had in my life.
It was rugged, man. It was pretty bad. Matty Mize just followed us. Hey.
Wow, Mize. Haven't followed my podcast.
Yeah, no, it's a real big sweat fest. It's a real tough time right now in the Warzone. So it's honestly, before the integration, I think that was the best. The guns were great. There was so many guns that were viable. It was fantastic.
Before, we got to the integration because we went to DMR into this.
They fucking broke it.
Who knows what's gonna be next? So get your Cold War guns ready, folks, because
it'll be the Bullfrog and J God's already preempted it. It's gonna be the Bullfrog and something. I can't remember what the other one he mentioned, but he's hoping that once they nerf the FFAR and the AUG, you're gonna have 4 SMGs that are pretty meta. You'll have still the Mac, you'll have the Bullfrog, and the 2 MP5s, and I'm okay with that. I like the Cold War MP5. I like the Modern Warfare MP5. I'm okay with the Mac. The Bullfrog's pretty fun to use as well. We just need to not have an assault rifle that kills faster than all SMGs combined. It makes no sense to have different classes if they don't have more defined roles. You shouldn't be able to outgun an SMG with an FFAR, but you can every single time. So
you'll just find me running around with my shotgun out.
The old Gallo. Yeah. So I mean that's pretty much it. That's everything we've got for you tonight. Unless you got anything else, Matt, that you burning inside to talk about.
No, it's just a sweat fest on Warzone. That's all you know.
Stay away at all costs if you can. But we all know we'll be there. I'll be there again in no time. Perfect. Well, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks for watching with us. Thanks for chilling on the stream. For everyone who's listening to the podcast, thanks for listening. We really appreciate everybody's support, all the listens, the views, all that stuff. I mean, it's great. We really love it. If you feel like doing more for the show, and you're the type of person who likes to rate and review, you can always do that. Podchaser.com. Find our podcast there. It's like the IMDb of movies, or IMDb is for movies. It's like the IMDb of podcasts. So you can go to podchaser.com. You can rate us. You can review us. Again, if that's something that you're into, that's something that you do. Something that's easier and more accessible and much less public than putting a review on the internet is letting friends and family members or just people know about us. You know, if you are an avid fan of our show and you know some people that would also dig what we're doing, let them know. You know, I don't know how that conversation goes because you don't just want to randomly walk up to someone and be like, hey, you got to listen to this podcast. Because there's a lot of memes out there that podcasters do that. I don't do that. I don't go to people randomly and just start my conversation with. So I have a podcast.
True.
So however you start that conversation, you know, let somebody know if you can, friend, family member, like I said, coworker, whatever it might be. We're all getting back to work a little bit more. We're all doing some more driving. You need some time to occupy. You need some things to occupy your drive. We'd love to be there with you, occupying your downtime. But yeah, let them know. That would be great. Otherwise, you can always follow the socials as well. Everything is pretty much W_key_podcast. That's on like Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram. I am using TikTok more for just content, for getting stuff out there. I'm doing more shorts on the YouTube channel as well. Just because like we don't have a ton of like full length stuff. We do the shows obviously, and you know, we could probably expand on some more news topics for smaller videos, but we don't do that a whole lot. But the YouTube channel is got more like kind of just shorts, clips, things like that. My TikTok is J Frosty, just basically like my name on the title, J_FR05TY. So you can check me out there, follow me on that. Matt, why don't you hit them with your socials, and then we'll get the hell out of here.
Instagram, Technique TV. Do we have the Twitter, Technique? Don't use that too much. Also, myself have gone into the TikTok realm a lot, really going in on that, and that is Technique, just my name. And twitch.tv/Technique if you want to see me stream and whatnot.
Beautiful. Well, again, everyone, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for sticking out on this wonderful Monday, getting a little game news education, and we will catch you in 2 more weeks. So not this coming Monday, the next Monday. So it'll be our, next stream in April. April's already here. It's kind of crazy to think that, but 2 weeks from now, be here roughly same time, 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's usually when we like to get going. Other than that, we'll catch you guys in the next episode. And always remember, you can't spell win